Hello and welcome to the Voice of Todd. I'm Tom, and with this video we're going to talk about that explosive season finale for The Expanse. Yep, it's season 5 episode 10. This one's called Nemesis Games. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy this video or any of my content, please do subscribe to the channel, leave a like, drop a comment. It's all great. I love hearing from you guys. The support has been fantastic and I really appreciate all of it, and it makes a huge difference, and I really love doing this. We're doing this a little different today. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it and maybe prefer this way of giving my thoughts on a TV show, because I really didn't want to just run over everything that happened for most of it and then talk a little bit about my thoughts. I thought we'd just get straight in, and spoilerific of course, so if you haven't seen it, probably best to watch the episode then come back, which is absolutely fine, so you'll know what I'm talking about. But let's just jump straight in. So if you've seen my review from episode 9, you'll know I was kind of let down by it. For whatever reason, it just didn't work with me. Some of the storylines have dragged on, we've lost elements of others, and it's taken away, and it really showed in episode 9, but it's taken away from certain people's, certain characters' stories in the books. But I think this episode was a return to form. Now, it's a return to form for the season overall, for the show overall, sorry. But we were spoiled with this season. Season 5, the first 8 episodes of season 5 were mind-blowing. Some of the best sci-fi TV, but some of the best TV I have ever seen, and I loved every minute of it. The 9 was a real come down for me, and this one works. I don't know if it sticks the landing enough to justify how amazing the first 8 episodes were. It's definitely not at that level, but this season as a whole has been an incredible ride. I think watching them in a block of 10 and just binging it like we're used to with basically everything that Netflix does, and most of how Amazon releases their TV shows. I don't think that the change in pace between 8 and 9 and 10 will make any difference. I think you will get more enjoyment binging this season, personally, but it's just been a fantastic ride. So I want to say, first up, before we get real deep in this, what an amazing season. Is it perfect? No, but it's as near as damn it. But let's get into this episode specifically. With, where do you start? But the start. So, the opening. I love space combat in this show. This is the best space combat that I have seen outside of the Battlestar Galactica remake, which is the gold standard. And okay, your movies are, I don't factor the big sci-fi films into this because we're talking about TV. It's a totally different world, or it used to be. The lines are kind of blurred, but the CGI, how it's shot, the movement of the cameras, and all of these action sequences are just incredible. Very chaotic. You don't get lost in the action, which is key. Even in some of the big films, you just get lost with so much going on. Not in this. You know whose side you're on. You know what's going on. You can tell the ships from the different way that they are. And even when there's 50 missiles being fired, probably like there was in this, you know exactly what's going on. Really nice to have Holden back as the focus for a little while as well. He's been very underused this season, and honestly I kind of forgot how good Stephen Strait is as Holden. When he was first cast, I didn't know who he was. I watched the first season, I didn't love him. But he's really grown on me. He really works with the character, and I totally buy him when he's on screen. As I say, he's been underused this season, which is a real shame, but it's nice to have him back, and it's nice to have him in that seat making the decisions again. for the Rosie. There was a moment very early on that did wind me up. Bull's casual racism. We've spent the season with Bull. I will get on to what I think is happening with Bull later in this review, because there's some big stuff at play. But Bull used a term for the Belters that everybody frowns upon. He's an Earther. He's an older Earther, so you can see where he's got this from. But let me get this clear. Bull has spent years in the UN military with Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson defected with Bull, and this is the book stuff. It's touched on in the show. Defected with Bull to unify the belt, make the belt better. I do not for 1 second believe that Bull would really use any kind of derogatory term on a belter. I really don't buy it. Neither in the book or the TV show, regardless of how fired up he gets. He's been working with belters for years. He's flying with belters on the Rosie, and they look up to him as the leader of Tycho Station. I don't buy it. And because Fred had respect for the belt, Bull deep down has respect for the belt. Not quite as obvious, and he does it begrudgingly, but really, he believes in Fred, and that's what Fred believed in. So I don't buy that at all. I just think this was a chance for Holden to dress him down because of where the character's going. That said, the attack on the Rosie. Fantastic. And isn't it nice to get Kamina Drummer back in charge and kicking ass? She's been moping about all season. It has worked. I've loved her story arc. I've loved the connection and the family that she had, and then the squabbling, and that it's really brought a nice dimension to the show. But by God, isn't it good to have Drummer back? Oh, yes! Just what we want. Okay. The Polyan Belter fam is pretty much knackered after this point. Let's be clear. Drummer had a family before she got into this, and turned her back on Tycho and Fred, in a way. And she will always have Naomi's back, regardless. They're that close. But Drummer finally standing up for what she believes in, and Joseph too, really brings it home how strong the bonds are with the characters of this show. Fantastic. And I can see big things from her next season. She is, as I've said before, she is the only person in the belt who I think can stand up against Marco and gather enough support to do it. That's where we're going with her, I think. But brilliant, absolutely love it. But again, I have some issues. In the scene where Drummer makes her play and grabs Corral's gun, Corral is one of Marco's highest lieutenants. She was put there for a reason. She isn't stupid. She gets the job done. Why the hell did she take her visor off? If she hadn't taken her visor off, she wouldn't have had her head smashed in when she bounced off the railing. And also, when Carol got hold of the gun off the floor when Drummer was attacked, why didn't she just shoot her? Just pull the trigger. I know that Drummer's got plot armor. I get that. Either way, Carol's dead. Quick end, serves the story. As good as Carol has been, she's a villain. We're not rooting for her at this point. So, that's fine. But, again, really great action. It's very tense. The space stuff in this show is amazing. We need more space battles. Over to Naomi. and I'll touch on this now. We're with Naomi, Alex, and Bobby. This is their main arc for this episode. Last episode aside, Dominic Tipper has been amazing as Naomi. She's back to her best here. I really loved her scenes with this. Last week was just too drawn out, but this was just wonderfully shot. The rescue sequence, absolutely incredible, and it's really nice to have Bobby back in action. She's had maybe 2 moments in the last 6 episodes. It's really nice to get Bobby involved. Really loved it. I think that this caps off Naomi's arc very well. I think the TV show did do it justice in the end, regardless of my feelings of it previously. And Dominic she's just incredible. She's such a great actress. And it's moments like this, the well thought out, crazy space stuff, that makes the show stand out. Loved it. Even though Bobby and Alex have been a little wasted this season, I've really enjoyed their moments. The two of them have had great chemistry, and that will lead me on to the first major talking point and a major change to the book. Alex's death. I didn't see this coming, because I don't really care about the news of celebrity gossip and actors and all that side of it. Having looked into it, I understand why this had to happen. I think it was handled very well. I'm not going to go into the stories. All I'm doing is talking about the character. It's not for me to say anything because I don't know anything. But I can see why this change was made. I think it's better to kill off Alex than to recast him for the final season. We know season 6 is coming, hopefully next year. And I like that he does go out with a heroic moment in his own way, in a way that only Alex could. Now, Cass Anvar, regardless of what's going on and what he's done or hasn't done, I think he did an amazing job as Alex Kamal. He really brought the character to life, and in the show, I will miss him as the character. But I do think it worked. It definitely kept me on my toes. Did not expect that. We jump over to one of our brief scenes of Philip and Marco this episode. Marco's reaction to the fact that the Rosie has escaped and Drummer has defected and turned against him is as expected. I think that they're clearly setting up something for Philip next season as well, with the shots, what he was doing, how he was interacting with the mechanics that he's been working with. Definitely the loading of the gun. And Philip's reaction to Marco telling him that the Rosie wasn't destroyed and that they'd lost ships. It's all setting up something for season 6. Again, Josiah Chase Owens and Keon Alexander, incredible. They've been amazing this season, absolute standouts. Really loved their scenes. Together, apart, they've been a big part of this season. Can't wait to see more of them because they've been amazing and they really stood out. In a cast that has been incredible across the board this season, they've really stood out to me. But finally, Holden and Naomi are reunited aboard the Rosie, and it's really nice to have them back together. They're the heart of this show for me, and the books. It's a nice scene. It goes over a few little details that may have popped up, and that's what the show does. The show pays attention to the little details. It doesn't tell you everything, but it tells you enough to figure it out. And we finally hear Naomi's message to Holden. The one that he says he refused to play because he knew he would save her. And it's a really nice, touching message, and it's a lovely moment between the two of them while Naomi's getting treatment in sickbay. This is where I want to talk about Bull. because we get a moment after all the changes and the big reveal with Alex. Bull is sitting in the pilot's chair of the Rossi. I've thought Jose Zuniga was fantastic this season. I love Bull as a character in the books. It's pretty clear that he's taken the place of Alex as the pilot of the Rossi, with him drinking from Kamal's mug, with him being the one to fire the missile on Naomi's orders to destroy the Chetzamoka, which is Alex's job in the books. Bull does it. He's the step in. It does work, and this is clearly the reason why they brought Bull in this season. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't think that we would ever get Bull, because Bull's character was incorporated into Drummer earlier on. The only reason that they've brought him in is to put him as pilot of the Rossi, I think. I'm okay with it. They've stealthed him in this way so that he's already established. I think he's been fairly well received. I don't see why he wouldn't have been. And I'm okay with it. As I say, I like Bull as a character, and Jose did amazing work with him. Again, a really good standout for this season. But this may bring in some conflict with Naomi, and I would guess Amos. You can definitely see Amos and Bull going at it next season, which is going to bring a nice new dynamic, potentially. But before we get to the Luna stuff, I do want to touch on Monica. Anna Hopkins, again, has been great this season. We haven't seen much of her, but she's really shown when she's been on form. And she's not quite done. She enlists Bobby's help to try and figure out what happened to the protomolecule and the explosion of the Zemaya, which we will come back to. But we're finally at Luna. Final moment with Eric and Amos as the Rossi comes in to dock. It works. It's kind of, well, it is a waste of what sounds like a great bottle of tequila. I'll miss Eric. I think Jacob Mundell has again been a really good standout. He brought the character to life. It fitted how I envisioned him from the book. Yeah, another great casting choice. Well done. But we finally have the new core crew back together. Amos, back on the Rossi. A touching reunion, slightly uncomfortable, but a touching reunion with Naomi after everything that she's been through. And Holden clearly pointing out there with Amos and Holden the way that their relationship has grown over time, and they've gone from being adversaries, yeah, I suppose adversaries, to battle brothers, despite the hierarchy of the crew. And that's where Amos drops the bomb that Clarissa will be joining them. Clarissa, who in season 3 was on a mission to kill Holden and destroy the Rossi. So she's now joined the crew. Fantastic. I've really enjoyed Amos and Clarissa's chemistry. I hope that will continue. It's a totally different setting. We will have to see. But it's setting things up nicely for the future, and it's keeping some familiar faces around, so I'm not going to complain. But before we get to the ending, really, it all plays in together. And so I want to touch on how the crew dealt with Alex's loss. Alex has been a huge part of this crew for so long. It's obvious that Naomi will take it quite hard, because he died saving her. And she doesn't like that. She can't cope with things like that. Amos's speech, when he says he knew the last stand moment, he's not going to how do I start. The last stand speech, it works, it fits Amos mostly. It does show the connection with him and Alex. Holden's going to brood over it, and it will obviously affect Holden. There is the moment with the sign with Alex's name on the Rosie. I just feel that there could have just been a moment in the officer's mess, which is what I'm heading next. Or even just in the galley of the Rosie with the three of them raising a glass of something in Alex's memory. Just a nice little moment for the three of them to remember their fallen comrade. It might just be me, but I really feel that was an opportunity missed. But anyway, over to the officer's mess, and a really weird scene. This didn't land for me at all. It felt really awkward. But it serves its purpose. Basically what this scene is doing is showing you that all of our main characters, all of our main heroes, are still alive. It's promoting unity between the Earthers, the Martians, and Belters. Okay, that's fine. It pulled me out of the episode. It just felt so garish compared to everything else that we've had. But we get some juicy revelations to set up Season 6. Which is, if reports are to be believed, the final season, but the ending of this season is just as epic as the first few episodes, I think. Another space battle, this time Marco and all of his Free Navy versus the 3 destroyers of the Ring Gate defense. And Marco's brought his old stealth box to help him out with a shower of meteors that weakens the destroyers, shot amazingly. Again, the CGI, fantastic, loved it. Very quick battle, answers some questions like, whose side is Medina Station on? It's on Marco's, because it attacked from the other side of the ring. And when the Martians showed up, and all of this is delayed by Earth, so we're seeing this happening, and then we're cutting in between Avasarala in her crisis room with Holden and Bobby and her closest advisors with a 3-hour delay. So as they're watching it, we're watching it kind of thing. But the Martians show up. Earth thinks it's allies. It's not. It's the Barkeef. And the rogue MCRN faction that we've had so little time with finally turns up and finishes the final destroyer, led by Admiral Salvatore. Remember him from episode 2? Well, he's a bloody tyrant, and he has the proto-molecule in exchange for giving Marco what Marco wanted. Marco has also given him one of the ring worlds, Laconia, and access to the Laconian Gate, obviously. There's some little setup here. Nice little nod, a bit of interplay. It sounds like Salvatore and Marco's deal is done. Payment received. Favours exchanged. Everybody goes their separate ways. But what could Salvatore want? A high-ranking Martian admiral. Sounds like a career military man. What could he possibly want with the proto-molecule? They've found the Builder's ship. An alien vessel, and they want to find out how they can, I'm guessing, reactivate it. He wants to make Mars superior, bring life to it. And after all, the proto-molecule was just a way of delivering a kind of life, be it in the mind of the Builders. But it set things up nicely, and finally brings in that extraterrestrial feel that we've been missing for so long. I don't know who these Builders are. Book 5 was the last book I read. So this is all new to me, and a brilliant revelation. So season 6 is shaping up to be pretty amazing. I really hope that they can deliver. Like I've said, time and time again, this show is incredible, and despite its little missteps here and there, It works really well. The cast and the crew have done amazing work, especially this season. It has issues like everything, but if you binge watch this season now, I think it will be much better viewing, because you don't have to wait for that period where you're constantly going over your head. What happened in this episode? Why did this happen? What's going to happen next episode? The binge model really works for things like this. But I'm glad that we got it weekly. This is the best way for Amazon to deliver these things. If they delivered this weekly last time round on season 4, there might have been more people watching it. Maybe season 6 wouldn't be the end. Who knows why that decision was made? I certainly don't. And I don't want to look into too much because I don't want to know about season 6. But I definitely feel, and I've seen it time and time again with going to watch this on Amazon Prime, Amazon have not promoted this show anywhere near enough. This could have been their flagship. It could have been huge. I don't feel that they've done it justice, especially with how great this season was. But I've really enjoyed it. I think there's a lot to love with this show still. I think it's still the best thing on TV right now. And I can't wait for season 6. But I want to know what you think. What did you think of this episode or this season? Let me know in the comments. But I will warn you. As I've said, the last book I read was 5. I don't know anything else that's happened. So if you can, please keep spoilers to a minimum. If you can avoid them, that would be even better. I don't think I'm going to read the next few books until after I've seen season 6. I want to go into the TV show fresh and experience it for the first time that way, because I've grown connected to the show, the TV show, and how that's unfolded more than the books in a way. And I love the books, don't get me wrong. But you hear things, on social media and what have you. And I think I would want to see how the TV show ends before I see how the books end. And there's more books anyway. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with this season. I really enjoyed sinking my teeth in doing these reviews. I know we've moved around with structure. Hopefully you found this way better. Let me know in the comments as well. So that's it for The Expanse, Season 5. What's coming next, I hear you ask? Well, if you haven't subscribed, you are more than welcome to. I would love to have you along. Make sure you hit the bell notification, because there is so much more coming to the channel. On Friday, we've got our episode 5 review of WandaVision, which has been a lot of fun so far. Next Wednesday, we're going to start a new set of reviews for another beloved sci-fi show. Actually, a sci-fi show that I hold above everything else. We're going to start Firefly. I've already got the prep work done and the script written for Serenity Parts 1 and 2, and we're ready to go. That's going to kick us off, and every week we're going to do another episode, finishing with Serenity the film. That might keep us going on a Wednesday for a little while longer. There's going to be other news drops as well, with the Todd Reads the News, covering TV shows, movies and gaming. Keep an eye out for those. And anything that pops up or comes my way with regard to The Expanse, any news, any dates, anything in the future, I'll definitely be covering it, and we can talk more about it then. But as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.